A very good evening to all the viewers. Thank you for joining us today on the show. This is the Evening Review. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host. Tonight on the show, we are joined by Press Secretary in the Presidency, Dr. Alfredo Hengari. But before we go into the interview, a quick break. So Dr. Hengari is, of course, here to speak to us about the current headlines in both Namibia and South Africa regarding the alleged theft of millions of dollars at the farm of South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the allegations that the Namibian authorities were involved in some capacity in that scandal. Thank you, Doctor, for your time. It's been a long time since you've been here. Give us a sense of, I know that you've issued a statement, and the President Hage Geingob, has also spoken about, he has also reacted to this issue, and I've heard both President Geingob and Ramaphosa saying they do speak to each other, but they wouldn't delve into that specific allegation. When President Hage Geingob says that he does speak to President Ramaphosa, what is the nature of the conversation that they have?
Thank you very much, Toivo Jabela, for having me on the Evening Review. Before I answer your question, there's a very important clarification.
Yeah.
Namibia is a sovereign country. With its own president. At this point, Dr. Hage Geingob, who's also the president of the SWAPO Party, a sister organization to the ANC, the African National Congress, which is led by President Ramaphosa of the Republic of South Africa. So we are dealing with two distinct countries. And I know that Namibia used to be a colony of South Africa. It is no longer the case. So we should not get too excited and try to graft events in South Africa into Namibia. And yes, President Geingob and President Ramaphosa enjoy a very cordial and brotherly relationship. But that relationship is based on advancing the bread and butter issues in both countries. The bilateral relationship is what animates in large part that brotherly relationship. And at the time that I'm speaking to you now, these are two pivotal leaders in the security architecture of the SADC region. So it goes without saying that they would interact on a regular basis around a large bouquet of issues.
Okay, that's a good one, Doctor. Do you then deny that the President, or the allegation that is made in the affidavit of Arthur Fraser, the former intelligence boss of South Africa, who says that when the alleged theft, as a matter of fact, is no longer an alleged theft because President Ramaphosa has already confirmed officially that indeed there was theft at his farm, although the details of that theft are not, have not been made public by his office, that President Ramaphosa sought assistance from President Geingob to apprehend, Emmanuel David, who had crossed into this country, allegedly after committing that crime in South Africa, do you then say that, what is the presidency's reaction to that particular allegation?
The presidency has been very clear about that specific allegation. At no point did President Geingob assist President Ramaphosa in apprehending this or that suspect. As is alleged, sensationally so, in the media, in Namibia, as well as South Africa. We have stated our position in that regard. There's no factual or legal basis to suggest that President Geingob, who is a man who's committed to effective governance, at no point did he violate our laws, the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, in assisting President Ramaphosa in apprehending any suspect. But what we do know is that a suspect was arrested in June 2020 for having crossed into Namibia illegally. And that person was consistent with our laws, appeared in front of a court, they paid a fine. And this person, who is a South African citizen, as you know, left Namibia in November of that very same year. That's what we have. But what is material to us in as far as some of these unnecessary allegations are concerned is the fact that the President of the Republic of Namibia did not assist President Ramaphosa in apprehending anybody. It is contrary to the DNA of President Geingob and his commitment to the rule of law.
So, Doc, there is a document, and I'm sure your office is a very, very serious office in terms of its mandate. You must have seen a document authored by former crime investigations head in the Namibian police, that is Commissioner Nellis Becker. It's a very confidential report, but for some reason found its way into the public domain, and it talks quite extensively about, it makes very small mention of the fact that the men crossed into Namibia using the canoe, but the bulk of that content is about what happened at the farm of President Ramaphosa and how the Namibian police, including Major General now, Commissioner, he was commissioner at the time, but he's now a Major General, Joseph Shikongo, was actually led that operation to apprehend this guy. Has State House made any attempt to absorb some of these facts and inquire about it? Because you are not an island on your own, especially when the allegations are made in that very document that the two heads of state were talking to each other.
Yeah, no, I think it's also a bit disappointing that you are referring to some of these allegations as facts. I don't know, maybe you are biased, maybe you are not, but I don't know if it was a slip of the tongue for you to refer to some of these things as facts. Yes, I have had sight of the affidavit as well as that specific report that has been circulating. I think it's important for all of us to know that when someone makes allegations, or be it in that report, as far as it refers to probably the two presidents are in discussions about what, where, when, and how, that is unknown, apparently. But it is clear that when someone name drops they are the ones who are responsible.
Yeah.
We cannot take responsibility for someone who makes certain types of allegations. I think you may want to hear from the gentleman concerned. And as the presidency, we are not here to comment on police operations and investigations.
Not even when you're implicated.
But I think what is clear is that the mention of the name of the president, or of the president, in as far as some of those allegations are concerned, it's quite unfortunate because there's no truth in that. And that's what we've been saying from the beginning. It is not in the nature of President Geingob to do things like that. We have been very clear that the two heads of state, they do interact on a regular basis. But President Geingob did not assist President Ramaphosa in apprehending any person of interest in South Africa. I think it's a chapter that in this country we should close. There's an investigation currently ongoing in South Africa, as you know. It should be allowed to continue to shed light as to what happened in South Africa. It's not in Namibia, actually.
Yeah.
As sensational as it may sound to maybe some of the audiences, but it is a South African matter. We have to close it and move on to other business, especially the important business of building Namibia. As I've said, and I will repeat it, that it's quite unfortunate that we do have individuals who serve as representatives of South African political parties, local branches here. But as Namibians, I think we are proud and sovereign, and we should focus on our own issues.
Indeed. We go for a quick break and return for second half with Dr. Hengari.
Your kiss is soft as a summer breeze, and you lift me up when you smile at me. When I'm with you, boy, I feel so fine. You make it summertime.
We continue our conversation with Dr. Alfredo Hengari. Now, Doc, you are saying that we must close this chapter. This should be considered a closed chapter in Namibia. But how do we do that when we know that our national institutions, as a matter of fact, because I can also tell you now that the Financial Intelligence Center in the Bank of Namibia has also investigated this matter and handed its findings to the police and the PG. And then, of course, the police itself having initiated the process of arresting this man and bringing him before the courts. How do we simply say, oh no, the man was charged for under immigration laws, he was convicted, he paid a fine, we leave it there, when there seems to be a prima facie case of collusion of some sort? Again, I'm not saying it's President Geingob has been alleged necessarily, but we know now that the biggest issue here is that there seems to have been a lot of money. The reports are there. I mean, evidence of what this money has done in the north, in Umsat region is there. How do we simply say this is a simple immigration issue?
No, I think as far as we are concerned as the presidency, and I think which is something that is also important for you to consider as a journalist in your role, is the fact that there is an investigation that is ongoing in South Africa, and it should be allowed to continue to shed more light into this matter. On the side of the presidency, we have made our position very clear that at no point did President Geingob assist President Ramaphosa in apprehending any suspect.
Do we go with, sorry, Doc, do we go with that version, simply the word of mouth by the presidency, or do you think that if we are interested as a country in truth and what really transpired, that there are also grounds then in this country for us to embark on our own investigation and see whether our national resources and institutions were used in a matter that is very, very private, involving the President of South Africa having lost private money?
Now, you want me to comment on things like an analyst, which is not something that I'm going to do. I'm here to state our position as the presidency. Repeatedly, we have done so. In this country, we have institutions that are competent to deal with any form of violations, criminal investigations, money laundering or whatsoever. They should be allowed to do their work independently, and President Geingob is committed to any process that respects the independence of our institutions. And they should be allowed to carry their work independently without any influence, without any hindrance. And I'm sure if they are requested to do so by their counterparts in South Africa, consistent with established protocols that governs cooperation on criminal matters and so on, I'm sure they will do their work. And you are also free to speak to them. In this country, we champion transparency under the Geingob presidency. So I'm sure if there are things that are of interest to your viewers, your readers, you can speak to the relevant authorities. The presidency is not here to comment on things that are not necessarily related to our daily operations, and also our position, which is very clear on this specific matter. We are not here to comment on this and that. It is alleged, it is said. We are not here for that.
Would the president welcome an investigation?
There is an investigation ongoing in South Africa, as you know.
No. Would the president, because we are not very much interested in what's happening in South Africa, they can do their own.
You seem to be very much interested in what is happening in South Africa.
We are interested in the allegations that are made against our head of state. That is what concerns us.
But we have cleared our position.
And
we have made it very clear.
And the use of national institutions.
We have made it very clear. If you don't have any factual basis or legal basis to make such allegations, rather don't make them.
But would the president welcome? Because look, what I'm saying, Dr. Hengari, is to say that if the president has nothing to hide, that he ought to open himself, to subject himself to a process of scrutiny by our institutions here, to say, I welcome.
Which institutions are you talking about?
It can be, for example, we hear that one of the political parties here have asked the ombudsman to investigate, because, look, what I'm saying to you, Dr. Hengari.
And the ombudsman expressed himself, right?
No, he said that the scope to which he's been confined by this political party is beyond his mandate. And I think he did a good job by advising.
But why don't we allow in this country, why don't we allow a South African matter to be a South African matter? It is investigated as such. What happened? Who did what?
But that is what I'm saying to you.
Why don't we allow that to happen?
No, but that is what I'm saying.
We don't have respect for due process. We don't have respect for independent investigations that are being carried out
Doc,
in a neighboring country. So we want to create our own source here, sensationally so, without any basis. There must be an investigation about what you don't even know.
No, in your opening remarks, you made a very good point, which was about sovereignty. And that's why I'm saying that the South Africans can carry out their side of the investigation, find if their president has done anything wrong and whatnot. We as Namibians are interested in knowing whether our own president here has also done that.
I think
we will be happy if an investigation is carried out and clear our president. We will go to bed happy as citizens. But to simply hear that or read a statement by Dr. Hengari saying, no, nothing of that nature has happened, and then we must take that as godly truth, that is what is troubling us.
I think we are trying to create a problem here where there's none.
With what?
We are trying to construct an issue and try to have it prolonged without any basis.
Yeah.
Because maybe such stories apparently do sell, they make for exciting headlines, but the majority of Namibians are not there. The majority of Namibians who vested their sovereignty in President Geingob, they are not there. They are concerned about bread and butter issues. They are concerned, and they are supporting their president in the important work that he carries out on a daily basis to ensure a better life for them. This issue, this minor issue, for which there is ample clarification from the presidency, should not preoccupy us for a period that is longer than necessary. Unfortunately, it is where the media is to try and make this sensational, to try and construct and look for angles that are not there, that don't exist, and try to create something out of nothing. We have made our position very clear. President Geingob did not at any point assist President Ramaphosa in apprehending a suspect. I just don't know what is the basis for some of these investigations that you want. I read the affidavit by a certain Mr. Arthur Fraser. I went through it. I went through all the reports that you are trying to mention here. We are following events in South Africa. We follow events here as well, very closely. And we can also see what is sensational and what is not.
So I hear you. I think in the interest of time, one last question really, Doctor, and I want to contextualize my interest in the matter. And I think in fairness, is the interest of the media here. There is, and you are kind of dismissing this report, this Namibian intelligence report by Niels Becker. It's not a new report. It's a report dated 26 June 2020. It's from 2 years ago. It was kept private until this Fraser thing came up. So it's not something that just was crafted now in light of this thing. So we can't simply dismiss the validity of this document. That's why I'm saying that for us, that is an official document of our country by a state institution making those damning allegations. And all that we are getting is Dr. Hengari coming out and saying, issuing a statement saying there's no truth in that. That cannot be enough.
No, I think I've already stated our position, and in as far as a report is concerned that is authored by a person saying that the two presidents are in discussions. I think that is something that commits the author. Objectively speaking, and factually and legally, you don't want us to be committed to what is authored by a person. That is wholly inappropriate.
By the police.
And that is out of place.
Not a Facebook post. It is out of place for you to want us to commit ourselves to what is authored by a person. That is wholly inappropriate. By the police. Not a Facebook post. It's an official.
It is out of place. It is out of place for you to want us to commit ourselves to what is authored by a person. That is wholly inappropriate. It is out of place for you to want us to commit ourselves to a report that is authored by an individual,
It's
making that assumption
it's not an individual,
or allegation without any facts.
It's a police report.
Without any facts, without any other form of basis. And that is our position. We are very clear about that. At no point did the President of the Republic of Namibia undermine any of the state institutions, undermine any of our laws to assist President Ramaphosa in South Africa. And I think we need to move on from this by appreciating sufficiently that these are two different individuals. One is the President of South Africa, as I've said at the very beginning, and one is the President of Namibia.
Yeah, yeah.
And they need to be treated as such.
Yeah.
The unnecessary conflation and, is completely unwelcome, especially for a sovereign country like ours.
Doctor, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That was Dr. Alfredo Hengari. He is Press Secretary in the Namibian Presidency. Thank you for watching.